holiday morning. Thank you so much for showing up, and Debbie, once again, thank you for inviting me to participate. So I get a lot of questions these days about, the right and wrong way of accepting money. There's a right and wrong way to accept money for your business, and there's a right and wrong way to give money to a potential business. But before I begin, I want to go over some basic terms to make sure that we're all on the same page here. Private equity is the first term. And in the private equity realm, what you have are investors giving money directly to private companies, okay? These private equity investments are not available on any type of public exchange. And when I say public exchange, I mean NASDAQ or Dow. The next term I want to define is private equity investor. A private equity investor is one who purchases interest in private companies, usually in exchange for money, or it could also be for services. A private equity investor shares in the risks and rewards of their investment in the company. For example, if the company is financially successful, then the investor is entitled to receive a return on his or her investment plus any additional revenue based on their pro rata share ownership in the company. But if the company loses money, then the private equity investor risks losing their entire investment. Okay, last term, loan. There are two basic types of loans. There's secured and an unsecured loan. A secured loan is backed or supported by collateral, and an unsecured loan is the exact opposite. A credit card is a common example of an unsecured loan. Okay, now California law. There are two basic ways in which you can cultivate and distribute medical marijuana to your patients in the state of California. And that is if you are a collective or a cooperative. A collective is a group of people coming together, stepped away from the mic. A collective is a group of people coming together for a common purpose. In this case, to cultivate marijuana to medical marijuana patients. A collective and a cooperative is jointly owned and operated by the members for their common purpose. A cooperative, on the other hand, can I take this?
Oh yeah, please.
It's a little restricted. There. Take off the chains. Okay. A cooperative is an actual corporation where you file articles of organization with the Secretary of State. So a cooperative is a separate legal person under the law that can sue and be sued. Okay, now whether you are a collective or a cooperative, the purpose of your organization shall be the following, and I'm just going to read directly from the language that I use in my bylaws, so excuse me while I look down. A collective shall operate as a not-for-profit, collective or cooperative, democratically controlled, and not organized to make a profit for itself or for its members, but primarily for its members as patrons. The earnings and savings of the corporation must be used for the mutual benefit of its members, or equitably distributed to the members in the form of cash, property, credits, or services. Okay, that's a mouthful, let's break it down. Not-for-profit. Now, Henry Wachowski will be able to go into greater details on the not-for-profit rules. I am just going to give you broad brushstrokes. Okay, not-for-profit. So the corporation can't be organized for the purpose of making a profit. That's very important to understand. If you are cultivating and distributing cannabis to medical patients in this state. So what this means essentially at the end of your fiscal year, your books have to zero balance, okay? And if there's anything that's deemed profit, it must be equitably distributed to all of your patient members in the form of cash, property, credits, or services. Okay. So, now that we know, because we're in California and we have a medical marijuana business, we have to either be a collective or a cooperative. The question becomes, Kyndra, how do I finance my business? How do I get money to continue or grow or expand my business activities? Well, the first option is a loan. You can get a loan from someone, essentially asking someone to act like a bank, to lend the business money. Now, as I said before, there are two basic types of loans, the secured loan and the unsecured loan. You should have an idea before you approach a lender of what type of loan you're looking for. And if you are looking for a secured loan, then make sure it's very clear what the collateral is that you're putting up to back that loan. Now, there's a couple of things to remember when you're entering into the realm of talking to lenders. One, please understand that a loan has to be repaid whether or not the business does well. So if the business completely fails, you're still on the hook for that loan. Which is why when you're looking at the different types of financing, two basic forms, equity financing and lender financing, most small business owners veer towards the equity financing. Why is that? Because if for some reason the business doesn't do well, the equity investor shares in the risks and rewards of that investment. If the business does well or does not do well, the lender doesn't care because they want their money back anyway. Okay.